Hello, everybody. I am joined here today by the man, the myth, the legend, HiddenXperia. How you doing, man?
Not too bad. Not too bad. How you doing?
Good. There is a lot of turmoil in the Halo community on a variety of topics. So we actually filmed a video in the past that we could never release. That I'm sad because it was a pretty great video. I released a clip of it that one time, but finally with this opportunity to chat about some stuff, I want to dive into that's on everyone's mind is armor coatings.
Yeah.
What do you think is your overall take on this situation? Because clearly, I think we're pretty much on the same page here. That like, and we don't know everything. Like, I want to stress that they're kind of being coy about it, as with many Halo Infinite things. But I also think their lack of explanation on some topics is telling us something, right? Like, because they could have easily come out and be like, no, don't worry, you can do this. But by not saying that, they're also, it feels like confirming that like most kind of color selection is gone.
Yeah, here's the thing, right? The situation is so bad. If it wasn't what we think it is, they would come out in a second and be like, no, guys, don't worry. It's not this bad. It's okay. You're getting it all wrong. But they haven't. They've not said anything about it. All they've done really is make it sound even worse. So I think ultimately it is as bad as it sounds to me. I mean, at the end of the day, we're losing color customization for the sake of selling colors. That is what it boils down to. You can sugarcoat it however you want. We now have to. There are going to be color combinations in this game that even in Halo 5 we could get for free that we now have to pay for. That's what it boils down to, and it's an awful decision. It is a terrible, terrible decision. I understand from a business perspective why it was made. I don't understand from any other perspective why it was, but ultimately, you know, business decisions in this case end up beating out every other decision. I really want to think they'll reverse it or they'll change it somehow, but I'm not gonna hold my breath.
Yeah, so you touch on that at that point there that, you know, you reversing it. I think that's looking at this the wrong way, and I often, you know, get a lot of flack for taking these stances like right in the middle, right? That like because you have to, right? Like that's the realistic thing is that there are already these promotions rolling out with the armor coating systems and like, you know, these multi-million-dollar partnerships with all these brands for them to say all that stuff you guys were, you know, people were buying your product for and stuff. So it doesn't matter anymore, right? Like that would be a way bigger fallout than having to be like, sorry, you have armor coatings. Like, and it's hard for people to accept that, but it's like, you need to, Halo is so much bigger and complex than I think a lot of people realize that some of these decisions you can't just go back on, right? It's not going to happen.
For me, finding all this information out via brand promotions, that was the death knell for me. That was the final nail in the coffin for the fact that this is something that is not going away. Regardless of, we can kick up whatever kind of fuss we want. This is staying in the game in some capacity. Like, honestly, I don't see them changing it at all. I think the reason they're being so quiet about it and not saying anything about it is because they aren't going to be changing anything and they're hoping that all of the craziness is just going to die down and people are going to forget. But it's not going away. Like, call me a pessimist, but like you said, the fact that we've got these $1 million brand deals that are inherently tied to this system, that's it. It's not going away. As soon as you see brand deals like that, that's the death knell. You're not changing it, or at least you're not reversing it.
Yeah, it's not going away. But and I also want to touch on, you know, you're very quick to say the whole thing is a bad idea, because I disagree. Like I definitely see merit in some aspects of this system, right? To me, the big thing that is upsetting is the removal of the primary and secondary color system, right? The notion that there could be some kind of coding system, whether that's texture or where the colors appear, right? There are a lot of options there where this additional system that works exactly as it does now, right? Where you're getting them via promotions, you're unlocking them in the game, you're buying them with microtransactions, that can work on top. And we also, again, to touch on before, we said that because they're not saying yes or no to, of the, you know, some people are saying, oh, you can probably just customize each part individually. And if that was the case, they would have told us that. Yes. They would come out and be right out and be like, no, don't worry, guys. You can customize each part and just mix and match coatings. Which I do think is a middle ground that can work, and they might even, I think they can go back on that. Because it still satisfies like even again, so even if this is like, let's talking about different routes we could go now that satisfy kind of both parties here. One route is that they go, okay, maybe we do allow a bit more, even if it's a little bit, of the mixing and matching of color systems. Maybe primary, secondary colors are gone. Sure. If I unlock a purple and gray armor scheme that, has certain pattern to it, and a red and black armor scheme, and I can say, I want my torso to be the purple one, and I want my lower legs to be the other one. Something like that to me is almost there. Like it becomes this little bit of a middle ground where you can still create those colors you want to create, but it is still more of an unlocking colors system.
See, the issue with that is, say you get the purple and gold monarch and the red and black red shift, and you combine them and you make like a purple and black one, right? What if there's a purple and black coating that they want to sell and you've just made it for free? They're not going to let you do that. At the end of the day, they're not going to let you recreate skins that you're meant to be buying, that are created to be purchased. They're not going to allow you to make those from things that you've already got. They're going to want you to buy them instead.
Yes, exactly. Which is also why I don't think that is the best answer. And it would need to be some kind of weird nuance to that. What I do think is the answer, and I've already kind of touched on this a few times, is, to me, it's all about your starting Spartan and having those core options there. And we've heard some people say like, oh well, they could have just been providing from the beginning, hundreds. You literally, there's a few calculations out there based on how many colors you want, right? Like it could be, it feels like to me, essentially the lowest would be over 200, right? Like you're looking
minimum.
at a lot of customizations, right? That is unrealistic to believe that they're just going to have that many free at launch, just easily available armor coatings. Yeah. What is more realistic, you can cut all of that junk out by just offering a very basic primary, secondary system. And again, you could literally say that is only a couple patterns, if that. Even if it's just one basic, we look back to Halo 2 style, right? Where you have little pieces on your armor and the head stripe, and you can freely choose the colors you want there. Everything else on top of that are fancy looking colors, fancy looking patterns, fancy looking textures, because that solves the first problem of people wanting to be that Spartan, especially a lot of hardcore players would be like, I'm not going to even wear all this crap stuff. Like, I just want to be like red and black, have that stripe, and that's it. And they'll never customize from there. But I would argue that a lot of people being satisfied with that, being able to create their Spartan right when they start the game, be like, oh, that's my guy. He looks like that, right? Yeah. They will still be excited about any kind of armor coating on top of that. Because they'll be like, hell yeah, man, time to change. Because I know I will. Be like, you know what? Like, as long as that option's there, as soon as I start unlocking, I'm obviously going to be jumping more, more frequently. I'll unlock new stuff and I'll pick new schemes. But as long as I know I have that fallback of being able to be that color, that does satisfy it a bit.
See, here's the issue, right? This entire thing was so painfully avoidable, so easily. All they had to do was give us Halo 5 or Halo 4 or Halo 3 or Halo Reach or Halo 2 style color customization, and then have the coatings on top, right? The game is free to play. Even people like me who are far, far, far more anti-microtransaction in any situation than a lot of people, right? Even I was willing to say, like, yeah, the game is free to play. They need to make money somehow. They're gonna have to monetize it somehow, right? The coating system would have been so much less of an issue if they could just give us what we had in literally every game before, right? That's the thing. We're not saying that this new thing is inherently bad. We're saying that the fact that this new thing comes at the cost of something that, honestly, I can't even call it a staple feature, because it's something so basic and simple that, like, people have been saying, like, oh, I can't believe we took colors for granted. We shouldn't have to take colors for granted. The fact that we're talking about taking something as simple as 2 colors for granted is absurd. If all they've done, or if all they can do is just give us basic color customization back, then everything else on top of it is like, you know what, fair enough, it's free to play. I might not like it entirely, but I understand that this is the way it's got to be. At least I can change my colors. But now we're locked in a spot where that's not even possible, and I worry that won't ever be possible, because, like I said earlier, if they did that, if they gave us like 30 colors to play with by default, what's stopping me from making a color combo just for free that is not identical but very similar to a skin they want me to pay $5 or $7 or $10 for? Like, I'm extremely pessimistic on this entire thing, because it's so easy for us to void the necessity of having to buy these skins if they were to give us free colors, that I just don't see them doing it.
So you know what I haven't noticed yet are any duplicates correct me if I'm wrong, but not only in terms of unique colors of these armor coatings, but in terms of where the colors appear on the armor. Which to me gives me a little bit of hope, because to your point, and I agree, that they wouldn't want you to be able to recreate something for free that you could acquire via unlocking or acquire via purchase. But if at least the stuff that's already out there in the wild, again, a lot of this hinges on the existing promotion stuff they've already created. If the stuff out there in the wild aren't actually, area for area and color for color duplicates of each other, that does open up the possibility to have essentially full color customization, and then armor coatings on top of that become more like patterns, areas where you can color, textures, and I do want to put a huge thing on and I think it could be even more than textures. Again, even the tertiary, right? Like say you can't even a tertiary could be something that is essentially locked to different armor coatings. I think there's potential there for them to incorporate a normal system on top of armor coatings.
I don't know. There's definitely potential there, but maybe I'm just too pessimistic in this entire situation. But just the mere fact that there are brand deals with it that are the entire thing was found out via brand deals. I just don't see anything changing for that reason alone. That to me shows how much money is involved with the system. It shows the monetary potential they see out of the system, and I don't see them changing it. I mean, in an ideal world, I don't think it was necessary in the first place anyway, regardless of the game being free to play. I think they could have done weapon skins, armor skins, and maybe even some emblems and stuff monetized, and just left armor stuff or at least mostly behind. But obviously that's a bit of a pipe dream at this point. I still don't see anything changing. I do agree that with skins, I think it's the granular skin, where there's quite a lot of intricate details. There's bits of the chest armor that are colored differently. Maybe that gives them more room for skins to go crazy and for them to give us a primary color system that is literally as simple, like you said, as Halo 2. Just a red body with a gold stripe on the head and gold stripe on the arm. Maybe. But
I'm trying to find where you personally think the concession can be made, because we both agree that armor coatings are not going away. They never will. But until enough community members and voice their want for something in the middle of something that essentially gives you at least a slight smirk to say, this sucks, but at least now I don't want to friggin' boycott the game.
Oh, yeah.
What is that middle?
My middle is just giving us classic color customization back. Give us what we already had for free, and then have things on top of that be monetized. It literally is as simple as that. I mean, obviously that probably won't go because of what we said already, but that is my concession. Give us what we had back before back. Give us what we should have for free back, and then monetize other things. Don't take things out of the game that have been free since 2001 and slap a price tag on them or slap an unnecessary grind on them. Don't do that. Just allow them to stay in the game for free, and then make the monetized stuff additive, make it extra, make it something that you actually want to spend money on, not something that you feel the need to spend on. If we can have Reach or Halo 4's color customization, then yeah, that's fine by me. Everything else is then additive. I'm perfectly okay with that, because we're not paying for things that have been free for years. What we're paying for is new things that are additive, things that we've never been able to do before. That's fine by me. I'm okay with that. I
would argue that even unique colors is new. Technically it is, because I think of, for instance, when I play ODST have different kind of muted colors. There's always 6 greens in the game. When I play ODST, I get more of a faded lime green that I like. I'm like, damn, I wish other Halo games had this green. And if there was an armor coating that gave me that specific color of green, or, again, I'm really big on the texture and shininess. I think that can go so far. If the base customization doesn't involve any kind of texture system, because that is new, say dirtiness, scratches and stuff, that's a new feature. And if the focus of coatings was on new colors, new textures, new patterns, then that base system of saying customize my shoulders, etc., with different colors, you think that's a nice mesh?
Yeah, 100%. That is fine by me, because we're not losing anything that we had before. The real problem for me comes from the fact that we are losing such a simple feature. That is where the real problem is for me. Ideally as well, I would like materials and textures and stuff to be, at least some of them to be in the game unmonetized by default, because yeah, it is a new feature and there's nothing saying that they can't monetize it, but it is, I think it's a bit low to monetize that entirely, because that's something people have been asking for a long time, and for it to be finally added to the game and be 100% locked behind the paywall would be super sketchy. At least give us a few. Give us like the ability to have reach wear and tear on our armor, or like ODST wear and tear on our armor, for free, and then just lock everything
So
up
for what it's worth, I will bet every dollar I own that this entire coding play, people get very locked into the notion of microtransactions, but it is so much bigger than that. And Halo has actually traditionally been relatively good compared to a lot of other games out there about being able to unlock things, even even promotions they do with other things, that you're eventually able to get them in the game without like purchasing the cookies and stuff like that. And I believe there's somewhere that says that, like, it's like 3 months with
it's a
with infinite
three
stuff
month
as well.
period until they appear in game in some capacity. Yeah,
which I actually applaud them for. Like, they do not have to do that, and a lot of companies definitely do not do that. So I'm happy to see that. But again, I will say that there is no way in hell that any of these things are entirely locked behind microtransactions. No. Because this is a bigger play, and that Halo has suffered with for the past few games, is a returning player base, reasons to keep them grinding and playing. If that person is playing, the more they play, the more they are likely to spend money in a store. It doesn't have to inherently be what is in the store, as much as, because there could be even way bigger microtransaction plays that we don't even know about yet, right? Like, we don't even know if they're going to go some crazy like DLC route, or like, I mean, like in a good way though. Like there could be like a DLC, like, because we've never seen like campaign DLC, right? Like, and something tells me about Halo Infinite, this like 10-year, this long crazy plan, that like we're finally going to see things we've always wanted that we can like purchase for this like bundle pack, right?
Yeah.
So getting someone playing with a lot of awesome stuff to unlock, right? Like, think of even just like what was the point of reaching 152 in Halo 5, right? Like, until like whatever we see we get for Infinite. But you know what I mean, right? Like, that's Halo 4 was even worse, because I got to the top of Halo 4 unlocks in like 48 hours or something. Like, it was so quick that I was like, and that's it. Why do I? Because I'm someone who is very much motivated by unlocks, by being like, oh, what's that next thing I can get, right? And so I think a lot of people need to step aside for a second and just think about their player retention strategy. If they can get those population numbers up, at the end of the day, they are going to generate revenue. So I think again, going back to your point about making sure like scratches and stuff aren't locked behind a paywall, I will bet every dollar on my friggin' bank account that is not the case. That it will be somewhere in the middle, right? We'll find unique stuff in a store, but it's an unlock play, player retention.
Let me rephrase that. What I don't want is an overly long artificial grind for these things to force you into paying for them. There are so many games that do that, where it's like, oh yeah, you can technically get them through gameplay, but like, for example, Battlefront 2 was the biggest example of that. I mean, it's like the example, but it was like 80 hours of gameplay to play as Darth Vader in a Star Wars game. I mean, come on, dude. Like, that is the textbook definition of an artificial grind, and I really, really don't want to see a Halo do that. And honestly, I know some people like to say that Halo 5 system was like better than most, and it definitely wasn't as bad as it could have been, but honestly, that game to me had a pretty bad artificial grind. Grinding for certain things in that game took such basic things, took so long, so much longer than it should have taken, purely because they wanted to funnel you into buying rec packs. And that's my concern now. Not so much that things will be locked behind hard paywalls, although that is absolutely a concern, because I can guarantee you that will be happening.
Totally.
But the fact that I worry that certain things like armor textures and stuff like that, simple things, will technically be earnable in game, but only if you grind for like 15 hours in like one playlist or something, or drop $5 and get it now. I don't like that, because it creates a grind that isn't necessary, and a lot of the time that grind isn't even fun. Like, it's not even an enjoyable grind. It's just a grind that is there to get you to pay instead of grind. I worry about that. Do you have
an idea in your head of how long you like to grind to essentially have everything unlocked? What is your like max amount of time, do you think?
That's a tough question, because it depends on how many things are in the game to unlock, how many what the variety of things is like as well. I don't have like a specific figure or like a specific time frame. I just say the best way I could put it is somebody who works a 9 to 5 and plays 3 hours maximum a day, maybe 5 or 6 days a week, should realistically be able to unlock everything in the game in a couple months. I would say. I think a couple months is.
And it's a very realistic time frame, and also including the fact that I assume we'd have DLC, right, and we could have these updates to get more stuff. And
so it gets harder to quantify that when you consider DLC and other features being added. But at least the base content, whether it's unlockable through just gameplay or through gameplay and paying for it, all of that should be unlockable in 2 to 3 months for somebody who plays 3 hours a day, a couple days a week.
I think there's a very realistic time frame. I want to segue into a discovery and tweet about challenge swaps. So it was recently revealed that there is, via one of the current Halo Infinite partners, like the classic thing.
We've gone from toys to cookies now.
Yeah, it's a thing that there's something called a challenge swap. And that presented a lot of confusion. And Unisheck was quick to actually explain what it was. And I'm curious your thoughts on this. He says, yes, challenges. You'll also have those swaps, which you can get different ways, in-game, promos, etc., that let you change certain ones if they aren't your cup of tea. The challenge system will help you move through the progression system or unlock items outright. Think MCC. So I think a big takeaway for me there is actually think MCC.
Yes.
I think they're very much testing waters and showing their hand with, like a pass system as well as the swap between season system, which I actually think is really damn cool. I'm always so impressed by that. When I go back, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to spend this on Reach now, right? Or I'm going to spend this on... I think it's 'cause I don't know if I've ever seen that done before. It's usually very be here, be right now. Otherwise, you missed it. Sorry, you weren't around this month.
There's always a big bloody death clock on the side of every battle pass. It's counting down buy this now, buy this now, buy this now, or it's going away.
Yeah.
There's always one there. So I've never seen a game do that before. MCC system, although I still don't think that a battle pass was the best direction for MCC. As a battle pass system, it's really good. It works fantastically. It's probably the best one that I've seen in gaming, honestly. Think MCC. That is promising to me. I do have one concern with the challenge system, or not challenge, rather the challenge reroll system, wherever it's called challenge swap. So the fact that challengers can earn you actual content, not just XP like in Reach or Halo 4. They can give you actual some sort of coatings or whatever by the sounds of it. I do worry that these challenge swap things are going to be locked behind some sort of a paywall or soft paywall, so you can earn them in game or you can. Oh, my camera overheated.
Internal temp high. Allow it to cool.
Bloody hell. This happens
you're back.
all the time. I do worry that some of these challenge swaps are going to be locked behind soft paywalls, and that maybe some of the challenges that have actual unlocks behind them as opposed to XP could end up maybe being artificially difficult to kind of get you to go and buy a swap or whatever to swap the challenge and get an easier one. That might just be me head casing, but just with the way that we've seen developers and publishers treat microtransactions kind of similar to this in other games, I don't think it's too crazy of a thought. The idea as a whole, I'm fine with, because there have been times, for example, back in the day in Reach, there were challenges where it was finish this mission on Lasso, and I'm I can't be arsed with that. Swap, bang, swap.
Well, we have seen swaps in Gears. Gears 5 did that with it's you use iron or whatever to swap. You also get a free swap, and then it goes up in price or in whatever the more swaps you do per day. I can see them taking a note from this, and I don't hate that. I find it a fascinating system, and again, because I'm really focusing on. They're pointing to MCC here because you do have MCC challenges that I've actually been loving that while they are time limited, it's just for dumb nameplates and stuff, right? It was one month to get this nameplate I'm never going to use, but I'm getting that damn nameplate, right? I'm going to hop on, I'm going to play my infection games I need to, right? And be able to swap out challenges on the side of that, be while I'm doing this, I could be unlocking other challenges and be why not just swap this one out to be more shotgun, hopefully get lucky or whatever and get a shotgun challenge or something. I'm hell yeah, now I can double down on these challenges. I do think it's an interesting way of monetizing, because obviously you'd be able to it looks like purchase kind of swaps and stuff. I'd be curious. I'd love to see behind the scenes of Gears of War and games like that. How much money that actually how many people actually buy swaps? It feels because I'm the kind of guy I love buying skins. I'm that guy. I'm a skin whale, right? I'm Sea of Thieves. I've given so much money because they release these gorgeous ship sets. I'm damn it. Like, I gotta buy this.
Here we go, again with the credit card.
Yeah, here, bring it out. Mom! I gotta buy the ship set. So like that one I totally get. Like I know that they must be raking it in with that, but like, yeah, but here's some like challenge swaps. Like again, I love the system. But it's like, is it really worth it? It's like, how much money could they make?
It's such a niche option.
Yeah.
Like I can't like I imagine this. Well, I've never seen the system in Gears, but I imagine that they sell them in like packs, like they do. With, like,
it's a currency system. So like if you buy currency, then you can like use that currency to swap. But you do get like free ones every day, like 1 or 2 free or whatever every day. So
it's just quite a baffling thought seeing like a shop and it says like buy 75 free challenge swaps with 25 free now. It's like just saying that is kind of a crazy thought. Not necessarily bad or anything. It's a very weird thing to monetize. But I mean, if there's a market for it and it's not really intrusive in any way, like I said, that's my only concern. When you get monetization put into these things, a lot of concerns start to pop up that the core systems themselves are modified for the microtransactions and to direct you towards them, like artificial grinds, like all those weird patents we saw Activision making for Call of Duty, where it puts you in a game with somebody with higher skill than you with a weapon that they bought, so you go and buy that weapon. Stuff like that, I get concerned about that. But then again, we don't know at all how the system works yet, so I think speculating about that is... we can speculate, that's fine, but we can't put any like true meat into it until we actually know how the system works. On a surface level, swapping challenges sounds great, and I'm looking forward to at least seeing how they implement it. Hopefully it's better than coatings.
Yeah.
I hope.
We've seen a estimated retail price of coatings and emblems. Coatings being like $5 and emblems being what, $2, I believe?
Emblems,
or $3. Yeah.
$5.
So I want to lead this with... This is one of those ones that instantly causes a ton of outrage and a ton of articles and a ton of clicks, but I don't even want to spend time on this one because an estimated retail price is a nearly arbitrary legally. Having also like worked on both sides of this kind of system, like whether working with partners or working with like entering content, just like or making contests for people with a variety of companies, those aren't inherently accurate, and nor do we know what they're basing it off of, right? Because they're estimating the price of a digital code that is packaged with a physical product. That is what I just described is a very different thing than accessing a menu in a video game and like purchasing something. I don't think that is inherently one-to-one, and I don't think people should look into that. That being said, I do think that to me is a realistic asking price for like a cool set of armor, or like, a crazy cool looking coating. I think that is, we just comparing to what else is in the market right now. That's, if anything, that's almost even a little less than we usually see lately. Right?
Yeah,
I've seen some wild prices for things. Gears did a bad job of that. Gears had like just preposterous prices for things. Like I liked the look of their storefront and stuff, but it's like there was way too much money for like an emote. I was like, come on, guys, like what do you? That's way too much, right?
Didn't they like bring the curb stomp back and put it up for like $10 or something when it wasn't even in the game? It's like, dude, come on. Stop.
Yeah, so I don't want to touch on that too hard because I just want people to realize that like an estimated retail price, it is very much arbitrary, and contests have to just say that because it is a legal thing to be like, hey, like we're giving away a Taco Bell promotion, we're giving away an Xbox estimated retail price at that specific time, just some number. When it is a digital good, I don't believe it. I think it's a different kind of legally, because it's not like this is how you buy this thing in store, right? Like I think so I don't want to dwell on that too long, but I think that's just worth noting, that it's a weird legal world, not something to be like, this is how much we're charging for skins.
I mean, the fact that we had to dive into the actual like 13-page terms and condition document to find that, that's definitely not set in stone that is the price. I could imagine that being the price, mind you. But I think pricing is something that's a bridge that we'll cross when we get closer to the date and we realize how expensive things actually are going to be in game. Because, I mean, they might end up blowing us away and selling like coatings for $1 each or something. Doubt it, but we don't know until closer to the date. So I guess for that, we're going to have to wait until they actually give us some hard information. But $5 sounds about what I would expect them to sell them for, honestly.
And again, it's I always want to assume that, these aren't what we've already seen so far, because we haven't honestly really seen anything too cool. I did actually like the look of that, the red shift one they showed off. I think it was pretty neat looking. Like, it's got like a neat, like, it looks like it might just because it is a better model now, like it's more textured and stuff. But I do think that, like, if they offered something that was legitimately cool as hell looking, then I don't think I'd look at a $5 one and be like, whoa, $5.
Right. Like,
that's understandable. Like, that's cool as hell.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you look at like League of Legends skins. So like the $3 or $4 one is literally just recolors, and then you have like the Pulse Fire
the real
and
fancy
stuff where
ones.
it's like $30. Yeah, it's very different. I think overall the thing for me that sucks the most about this is that I actually, like you said, I thought Red Shift looked really cool. Armor detailing and patterns and textures is something that I've wanted for so long.
And I'd love to change the colors of it.
Right, exactly. I'd love to change the colors of it. It just sucks that a feature and a system that is on paper so cool is just embroiled in so much, like, just bullshit. I was trying to think of another term. It's just the best way to put it. It sucks. I really hope we can come out of this on top.
My summary for armor coatings, that's kind of the point of this video more than anything, is that, like, again, I always say this in like my kind of videos. I'm like, 343, you're watching. We know you're watching. Anyone who doesn't think that, like, just doesn't know, right? Because they're watching. I can't tell you how many times, I've got a nudge saying like, hey, I'm in a meeting room right now, and we're all watching this, right? Like every now and then there's a video I'll put out, and they'll be like, oh yeah, like and that's probably happened to you. It's probably happened to like almost every Halo. Whoever makes like a well thought out video, it's like, everyone, meeting room, watch this right now. Like, these guys make good points. They see these. Trust us.
Yes, they do. No, I can also confirm that they do see these videos and they do watch them.
So my summary is 343. You don't need to get rid of coatings. You need to find a way to fit coatings in, and not even just in, but on top of a system that we already love. A tried and true fan favorite. Don't take that away. How can armor coatings add to that? Because and again, add is even a color we've never seen before. That counts as an add. I will spend money on that, right? I will grind to unlock that. And I won't be mad about it. I will be mad if I'll never be able to be a green and purple Spartan until I've logged 2 months of playtime or have dropped $30. Like, that is hell no. Give us that basic system. And more than that, sweet Moses, if we can actually do more to customize these armor coatings, like, you're not only gonna potentially give yourself a win here and good press, but you need it. You need it, little bit. But a big win. Because everyone's thinking, like, you said it a few times during this chat, right? That, like, you don't think they're going to do anything. So you'd be happy if they come back and say, yeah, we're doing something. But even more so if they're like, you know what? Coatings, they're still here, but now you can customize the hell out of them, right? Like, awesome. This is now the best damn customization system, bar none. I have no complaints, right? Like, make it happen. Good Lord, because I'm sure there's going to be other things that you're gonna complain about in Halo Infinite. We already know it's coming. It's absolutely right. How about just like give us as many obvious wins as you can, so that these other ones are just kind of nitpicks. Right? Like that's the way to go.
Yeah, I mean my summary is pretty much the same. It's very simple. 343. Don't take things that have been free for 20 years and make us pay for them. Pretty simple. Coatings can exist alongside primary and secondary colors. Monetization doesn't have to be intrusive. It can be additive. Please make it additive and don't take away features that we know and love and make us pay for them. 343, please.
Barvo, please.
Barvo, please.
Barvo, please.
Yeah. That's a throwback. Jesus Christ.
My final bonus point, point discussion is to everybody who made it this far, thank you. Also, unfortunately, the people we're about to chat about is aimed at probably won't make it this far. Who knows? Maybe because they're like more Xperia fans than my fans. Maybe they will make it here. But we're me and him and like Halo YouTubers and stuff. It's funny like seeing this like circle of shill right, go around that we all have our moments of like whenever like someone else on attack, I'm like, I'm free, dude. Like Uber Nick recently had it pretty bad. Like he had a brutal like couple days, and I'm like, people forgot about me for a minute. Like it feels great, right? It's I just want to like reinforce like how we're just so damn passionate about Halo. Like, and we can almost always, like I would say on most Halo YouTubers and like content creator stuff, a lot of us can very much agree on most things. We have different ways of either presenting it or like wanting, you know, maybe slightly more extremes of these different opinions, but we're all kind of on the same page of like, just wanting this game to be so damn perfect. Cause it's not like this, you know, being inherently negative or being inherently positive or whatever is going to make us money, etc. What, you know, if we're going to look down that route of like being the shill and like this is all about money, you know, what's going to make us money is if Halo Infinite is an incredibly successful game, right? Like, it's like that's what matters. It's not about our bitching and complaining that's going to like make us money. It's if everyone in the goddamn world plays Halo Infinite like it's Halo 3 all over again. That's when the hits come. That's when like that's all we want is Halo to be big again for every reason. But like, please understand that. So I want to like, I think it'd be funny. I want you to read this comment. This was from my last. You watched my last video, right? Like,
I did.
And I think I got some good feedback. Just read this out loud. This is great.
Let me do a live reading.
Yeah, do a live reading of this. A comment I got on that video. Who hopefully a lot of you watched this. That like I was probably some of my biggest roasting of Halo of 343 in a long time. So give this a read.
Here we go. Dramatic reading. The tip of the tongue, the teeth, and the lips. I'm concerned. They locked armor colors behind microtransactions, and you're just concerned? It's obviously bad. If 343 said they were going to charge us money for every weapon in the game, this guy would still say he's just concerned. I'm so sick of Halo shills not being honest because they want views. Dear God, dude. Oh my God. It's like people don't realize that we want the game to be popular, bro. Like, what?
What words do you want me to use?
Yes, you literally can't win with these situations, though. Dude, you can't win in these situations. Like, I remember the Infinite reveal. I said that I like the look of the campaign. I was told that I was literally being paid by 343. I said that I hated that Sprint and Clamber were still in the game. I've been told that I was wearing rose tinted glasses.
The only word you can use is hate. That's not a strong enough word. You're just out here shilling for money. You're not being truthful because you're using the word hate.
Dude, it's insane. It's almost as if we're just people with opinions. People that just want to see Halo back on top. But
people with opinions and check, please.
Yeah, hang on. Oh, there we go. Sorry.
I'm getting a call from Dr. Microsoft. Mr. Microsoft, yes? No, I'm not talking bad about the game right now. It's I'm very excited. I hope that everything is behind a paywall, and you know, even I don't want any custom. Honestly, don't even give me customization. Easy 100K, baby. Easy 100K.
Time to buy another Porsche.
All right, where can people find you?
In the climbing gyms.
Go to your local climbing gym. Ask, have you seen a strange man lately?
Have you seen a strange guy about 5'5", 5'6" in a good day, climbing, talking about Halo? There you go.
You gotta be careful with asking weird questions like that in strange places. When some guy will be like, "Come with me," and I'll like lead you down this. Like that is the passcode, right? Like to like get to like a
strange passcode, like a drug den or something.
Yeah.
Some chronic.
It's like his backdoor poker game, and you're sitting there, you know, an hour in, you're like, what am I meeting this guy? What did I get myself into?
Poker. I don't know the rules of poker.
But people can find you. Have you like got HiddenXperia on everything?
Yeah, I mean it's a pretty obscure thing. Surprised Sony didn't take it actually, because apparently there's a Sony phone called Xperia, but nah, HiddenXperia on Insta, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, everything really. Same on everything. If you really want to find me, you can find me there.
Word.
Where can I find you, Mr. Green Head Skull?
You can find me at your local climbing gym, holding the door open, waiting for someone to give me the specific password to get into the hidden poker game. Are you looking? I'm looking for a strange man about 5'5". Was 5'5" the answer? 5'4"? What was it?
What, dude? Come on! You can't be doing that to me. 5'5", 5'6" in a good day.
I'm Greenskull everywhere. Good night. I was gonna say America, and I'm like, neither of us are Americans. Like, that's pretty
none of us
weird.
are American.
Good night, world.
Good night, internet.